Hey, what's up? I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like.
Podcast also below in the description. Go subscribe to that as well.
We'll be streaming here live on draft night. Brought to you by wineaccess.com/ham. John, 20% off the best wines.
Yep. Wineaccess.com/ham. 20% off. Go do yourself a favor and place an order.
Forget everything you think you know. And now let's talk about what the Niners did, what they said, and what they're about to do if we forgot everything we think we know. Because we've asked this question a couple times. If they are lying's not the word. If they are trying to misdirect people right now, why would they do that? Why would they be trying to misdirect? We know the team that's picking one, the Jags, is taking Trevor Lawrence. And we know that the Niners know what the Jets are doing. They got a good relationship. But what if we don't know that? Because that's an assumption I've made the whole time. The Niners got to know what the Jets are doing. What if the Niners don't know what the Jets are doing? And what if the Niners, Kyle Shanahan's thinking, that's Mike LaFleur over there. That guy knows what I'm thinking. So it's in Mike LaFleur's best interest maybe for me not to know what he's doing. Mike LaFleur, Woody Johnson's paying the checks now. Joe Douglas is his boss now. He doesn't answer to Kyle Shanahan. Kyle calls. Mike LaFleur doesn't put on a hat and jump in the car and drive to the film room. So what if they don't know what the Jets are doing? How would that change what they're doing now?
See, to me, couldn't we start with the first pick?
We could.
Someone forwarded me a rap sheet tweet from earlier today. Now, it's a video, but he talked to Urban Meyer, and Urban told him that they had narrowed down the top pick to Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Zach Wilson, and then put them through Zooms. Really just focus on the three guys, put them through Zooms, and the goal was to find out, just to make sure that Trevor really was the top guy. What if just because this process, unlike normal years, is so jumbled, right? The information was slow to come through. Your information was limited to begin with. You did not want to tip your hand, to the two other teams. Now, I do think Trevor Lawrence not going one would be the most shocking draft moment in the history of the league. Would you agree there?
Yeah, it's the first thing that comes to mind. It's not close to this. I think Reggie Bush, if you're a college football fan, you thought Reggie Bush, why would another team take Mario Williams instead of Reggie Bush? This is not on that level. But, yeah, I think that would be the most shocking.
It would be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be the most shocking.
But
this guy's been the number one pick for 3 years.
What if the Niners know that their coach is viewed as this quarterback guy? They don't want to let people truly know if it's Trey Lance or Justin Fields, but specifically Justin Fields, because the other two teams, might take Justin Fields. What is Urban Meyer's, kind of his heart and soul for a guy that spent all these times at other places? It did feel like his time at Ohio State meant more to him. Obviously, he's from there. He still feels very close to that program. He got to handpick the guy that took over for him in Ryan Day. How much I remember being watching the pro day on TV, the first one, just how much joy he had being there. When I say Urban Meyer, is he more synonymous, you think, with Florida or Ohio State?
For me, it's Ohio State.
But I think, what do you think it is to him?
Oh, I think he's more of an Ohio State guy.
100%. So
he did show up at Florida for something, didn't he? Last year?
I think last year they kind of did something for him, but it had been weird. Now, he had more success probably. We'd have to really break it down. But regardless, I just don't think that Justin Fields, for a guy what is Urban usually like? I don't know. Big-time athletes? Tebow, J.T. Barrett? Who do you have a lot of success with in college? Alex Smith? Now, obviously, Trevor Lawrence is a big-time athlete, but I would say that Trevor Lawrence, it'd be between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Well, if you're him, you're God, Kyle is in love with Justin Fields. Same thing with Joe Douglas. You're I'm really going to take this one-year wonder from Utah over the blue-chip guy that Kyle Shanahan wants? The more you talk it out, you realize their prerogative for the Niners, they're incentivized to lie, to really lie, because they don't control their destiny here. If the guy that they wanted were to get picked first or second, that would be a problem, right? That's why I think they hammered home the three guys, and they've really picked the three guys, the third one that most people think is the least talented of all five.
Well, that's the one that has the least amount of risk of anybody else doing anything to mess with their plans. It's kind of, you're right, if they don't draft Mac Jones, then Mac Jones turns out to be the perfect character for them to put into this role because no one's doing anything No one's jumping up for Mac Jones.
I've had multiple teams.
Not even jump, I should say. The Jets aren't doing that.
I've had multiple teams in the 20s that obviously have no chance and don't even need quarterbacks tell me that they have discussed in their draft meeting that if this whole thing has been a smokescreen with Mac to the 49ers, they would expect him to be there in the teens. Like they
yeah.
Yeah. Because when you're just trying to like who's going to be where, you have to do the, that Mac Jones not going 3 pushes players, other good ones, get them drafted in the top 10, right?
Well, again, have the Jags made their announcement?
Fuck no, they've refused.
Have the Jets made their announcement?
I do think. Do you think what percentage? If you had to take $1,000 right now, would you put it like 10-1 Trevor Lawrence doesn't go, or just 1-1 Trevor Lawrence goes 1? You would still go Trevor Lawrence, right?
I would go back to what you just said. It'd be
what odds would it have to be for you to put the $1,000 on the non-Trevor Lawrence? 50-1?
No, I mean there'd be a number where I just go, you know what? I don't think it's that, but if I can make $20,000 on $1,000, I'll just take that shot, even if I don't think it's that, as opposed to making $1,000 on $1,000.
5-1 wouldn't be enough. You're like,
no, 5-1 wouldn't be enough. No, but
20-1 would get you thinking.
20-1 would get me thinking because I'm like, well, I'm making another $1,000 off my 1,000, or I could make 20.
Yeah.
So that would get me thinking, but it's not because I believe in 20
but if we moved
drafts.
Up the peg, if we went to the Jets, there would be a lot more uncertainty, right? You wouldn't feel comfortable. You're being told Zach Wilson, but I haven't heard the Jets say a peep.
But this goes back to, again, to that point. So we think Kyle's going to tell us everything he's doing when the 2 teams ahead of him haven't made that announcement?
Like, in fairness, I've heard Urban talk about Trevor glowingly and be at his games. Like, I know Urban likes Trevor.
Urban has nothing to hide. He is truly drafting number 1. Yeah, and I think it would be, does Urban really care who Kyle likes?
Well, no, not if he likes the guy. Why does it matter who other people like?
But Mike LaFleur, Mike LaFleur might want to know what Kyle thinks.
To me, what will be fascinating, and I'm sure Peter King or Breer will be all over this, is the story between those 2 teams' communication if the picks go differently than expected. Because that, to me, is the story. Like, how much did these 2 teams communicate? Guy, they're like best friends. LaFleur's brothers in Saleh's wedding, his younger brothers, now his offensive coordinator, all of them work for Kyle.
If you were the GM
Robert
of the
Saleh
Jets,
literally created from Kyle Shanahan.
John, if you were Joe Douglas's number 2 guy, and I was the number 2 guy in the Niners organization, would we be texting about the draft the last month?
I don't know. I just think when you are close with people, you just talk with them. Why would you not?
Because
I want to know.
I could talk to you next week.
Yeah, but I'd be trying to pry and trying to figure it out.
For sure. And I would be you'd be trying to not be pried.
The offensive coordinator has worked under Kyle Shanahan now, whether he was the offensive coordinator or the head coach, for going on a decade.
No, again, this is why I go back to.
Can you imagine how much time those 2 spent together?
Which is why I assume they know what the Jets are doing. But maybe that's a wrong assumption. Maybe they're trying to confuse each other. But
are we sure that LaFleur would know what the Jets are doing?
No, because
which would be kind of crazy. Again, his brother, best man, saw his wedding. He takes him to be offensive coordinator.
Also, Robert Saleh, defensive coach. Joe Douglas, like, I would want my offensive coordinator on board.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now that I think about it, I'd be surprised if Mike LaFleur doesn't know.
You would think he would. That'd be the healthy start.
He should.
But we'd also need to be talking about, if we weren't going Zach Wilson, like, obviously you guys are friends with Kyle. How do we play this? Right? Because we don't want it to get out. It'd be easy for them to leak, We are friends, but at the end of the day, it's on us to get this right. It's on them. Like, we are kind of enemies in the sense we're all kind of competing over the same players.
Yeah, look, I mean, to me, what comes into play here for the Jets is if the Jets have deep conviction about who the number 2 pick is, then it doesn't matter either. But if the Jets wonder, like, is it Fields? Should we draft Fields? Should we draft Zach Wilson? If there's any hesitation on their part, then it's useful information to them if Kyle feels very strongly about one of those 2 guys. If Kyle thinks Justin Fields is a star, then he should not let Mike LaFleur. Mike LaFleur should not know that Justin Fields would be Kyle's pick at number 2. That would be damaging. forget about damaging. It does not help the 49ers for Mike LaFleur to know which quarterback Kyle likes most.